Picture it, Los Angeles, 2025.
Oh my God. Welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty.
You're a sick
I'm
Kerri Doherty.
Sick and tired. So I'm
Oh
coming to you
God.
sounding a little bit like Dorothy or Kathleen Turner. And today we are bringing you another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of The Golden Girls and offer new insights since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. And it's time to pack your bags for the Bahamas and scream, "That's what the crow said!" Because we just rewatched season 3, episode 20, and Ma Makes 3. How are you?
I'm okay. Well, first off, how are you? Let me just preface this by saying I suggested, even though we are a day late in this episode, I suggested we delay it even more because of your illness. So I want everyone to know that I am advocating for Kerri Doherty Bush Montgomery Clift to go back to bed.
I didn't want to. I said we owe these people these stories. I don't want to let down the Gigi family.
To talk about this episode for the third time, maybe on this podcast. No,
the second.
Okay, second. I don't know. I'm not keeping track.
I mean, the flu may have been a more appropriate one, but I chose this one. I chose this one in a daze. I just thought, I looked at the episodes that we've done in these rewatches, and I was looking through the list, and I said, we haven't done a lot from season 3 yet. I'm going to do a season 3 episode, but I want to do one that maybe people wouldn't expect. So,
well, it's interesting. So you and I were talking. I was telling you beforehand. So usually how we work, you and I, is that you watch the episode pretty early so you can do notes and stuff, and I tend to watch.
I usually do it like the night before. Yeah,
and I tend to watch really right before we record because my brain and attention span is very small, and so I won't remember anything. But I watched it early today because I had to go out and do things earlier, and so I watched it earlier in the day. And I was thinking while I was watching it, now I was telling you there are no bad episodes of The Golden Girls except for the Empty Nest spinoff episode, which some people like to fight me on and say it's actually not bad. I think the only thing redeemable about it is Rita Moreno is amazing, of course. And
I also think people might like to fight you on it because technically it's a backdoor pilot, and technically not an episode of The Golden Girls, though technically it is an episode of The Golden Girls.
If it shows
we could
up,
go on for days.
If it shows up, which it does in syndication on TV Land as a Golden Girls episode, and it is a part of the lineup of all the Hulu and everything, it's a Golden Girls episode. I'm just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't in that lineup, I would give into that, but I can't. So the girls are great in it, whatever, but the rest of it's bad. Anyway, if you had to pick your worst episodes, quote unquote, not actual, that's not the appropriate word, your least favorite episodes of the Golden Girls, I feel like this episode might be in my list. And the only thing that saves it is that St. Olaf story, which is saying a lot because I often don't like St. Olaf stories. I find them to be redundant sometimes, or just unnecessary sometimes to the actual episode. So the only thing that I love about this episode is Blanche's hair, Sophia, and the St. Olaf story.
I think this is my favorite St. Olaf story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll get into why, because I really did write down some thoughtful notes as to why it's my favorite St. Olaf story. But I don't know. I think overall for me, this episode was another example of the sweet relationship between Sophia and Dorothy. And I feel like, we've seen a lot of moments on the show where Dorothy's kind of overprotective, or she's trying to force memories instead of just living in the moment together. But it's also nice to see moments where Sophia's a little bit more vulnerable and she's the one who needs Dorothy, even if she doesn't come right out and say it. That vulnerability in Sophia to me is so sweet. Your eyes are wide, like you think I'm taking crazy pills.
I agree. And like I said, I love Sophia in this episode. I think Sophia is a standout in this episode. I also like Rose and Blanche's dynamics in this episode. I always love a vain Blanche moment, but I don't know. There's just I think the guy, I don't like the guy. There's something about the guy that really just sort of, it's sort of like, to me, you know, those moments when you're out, like, you know, you have a friend and they're dating someone and they bring them around for the first time and you're with your other friends and then that new person is around and you can tell collectively all of your friends except for the person dating that person they brought doesn't really like that person. And so we're all kind of just like, "Oh, that's great. So what's it like doing math for work?" Like it's that level of like I have to really try to work up the excitement to be excited for Dorothy in this moment, and I'm actually okay that Sophia sabotaged the relationship because the man ruined the episode for me.
I, again, we'll get into it when we get into it, but I kind of agreed that, like, I thought Raymond was fine. I have
Boring.
some things about him that
What
I will
else has he
point
been?
out.
Well, we'll talk about it during the episode. But yeah, yes, I agree.
All right. Well, what else do we have? What else is going on in the world and
Well,
in
in the
our
Rusty Anchor
lives and
happy
stuff?
hour, we are
Oh,
talking about, which I'm very,
yes.
because I sent you a voice message. I was leaving, I was recording something with Elliot earlier, and we were having like sweet treats, you know, sweet treat stuff.
Oh, that's so
And
funny because look at my mug. It says Sweet Talk.
oh, that's cute.
Sweet
What's that
treats.
from? What's that from? What's sweet
Oh,
treat?
I'll tell you about it offline.
Okay. Well, secretive. And so I was driving back and I was thinking, because I stopped by Target when I was leaving the mall and I picked up just little things that Michael and I like. You know what I mean? I got some Spindrift because of you, because we're looking for
Yes.
alternative soda stuff. So I'm going to try that. It might be disgusting. I don't know. But I got like these frozen fries and these frozen nuggets, like all these like little things that we like to have just sometimes when we're like, it's a weekend. I just want some fries. And then I got to thinking about fast food and just like junk food and how much Betty White loved junk food. I mean, that woman ate horribly and lived to be 100 and some years old. So like
Almost 100. That was the
crazy,
joke.
crazy that she lived that long on the diet that she
On hot
had.
dogs and sundaes and vodka. Yeah.
So it got me thinking, I wanted to talk about junk food that we love, but also like, what junk food do you think the other girls would like? And we're going to talk about that a little bit on the Rusty Anchor happy hour.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for that. That one's going to be unhinged.
Yeah.
We also had another really fun live watch along party this past weekend. We
Yes, we
watched The
did.
Housekeeper, and you and I were both drinking tea. And I know that some people, it was like a little bit later in the day. I feel like a couple of the GGVIPers had a cocktail.
Oh
So
yeah.
everybody, anytime someone said Marguerite, we took a drink. So that was really fun to turn the Golden Girls into a drinking game.
That was
Highly
so
recommend it.
fun. That was so
That was a
fun.
lot of fun. So we'll do
Mhm.
another one next month. And
Yeah,
you, of course, can join us for one of these if you go to
they're lots of fun.
patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast
They're
and
lots.
sign up. It's in the Miami Program Director
They're
tier. It's so, so much fun. We also spilled on this past live watch along. We just did another interview with another very, very special guest who everybody's going to be very excited about. And we spilled who that was on the live
and
watch along.
we also spilled another guest that we have.
Another guest that we have scheduled
Yes.
an interview with coming up.
We are
So,
giving, I mean, we're actually really, really bad at secrets. We're really bad at secrets. So we just told everyone in the watch along who the special Golden Girls guests were going to be. I'm not gonna spill the secret here. I'm
no,
not gonna
no,
spill the
no.
secret here.
Mm-mm. Nope.
I want to
No,
give a hint, but I won't. I won't. I
no,
promise you I
no, no.
won't. I want to though, so bad.
It's got to be a secret. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff happening over in the GGVIP club.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
I'm
are
really
watching
excited for
this,
all of it.
if you're watching this on the YouTubes or on the Patreons, oh my God, I am having a hair journey. My hair is a mess today and I had to like be on camera and I just feel very vulnerable about how bad my hair is right now. But that's okay because you're probably listening to this, looking at the statistics that we have. You're probably listening to this. And so just picture me with a beautiful curly head of hair, looking bouncy and gorgeous.
Yeah, you look
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
You
shut
look
up.
great.
Oh, shut up.
I'm ready. I'm ready to
I am too, because I want to really trash on this guy like a good friend. I want to be like, he's not right for you. If he doesn't accept that you have to live with your mother and that your mother comes along with this package, well, then guess what? Fuck him. That's my thoughts.
I'm tired of dating your mother, Dorothy.
Well,
All
get
right.
used to it, whatever your name is. I don't even remember your name. That's how much I hate him.
Wow, you're giving like Miles hating energy to Raymond right now. I don't know that it's that deserved, but you have your own opinions. I will respect them. Let's take a break so I can blow my nose, and then we'll come back and
Okay,
talk about
we'll
this
be right
episode.
back. We'll be right back.
So this episode starts with a story that I feel like is probably so relatable for people of a certain age. All of Sophia's friends have either died or they've gotten older and they've moved in with their kids. They've gotten remarried. She feels alone.
Yeah.
And I feel like the idea of making new friends at like 80 something,
Oh my
like
God.
that. I mean, I'm stressed enough about like, if Stan and I ever move someday, I'm like, God, how am I in my 23s? How am I ever going to make new friends? Because I'm so
what's
young.
interesting? I agree with that. But I'm also like, I feel like the internet has changed how we make friends. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I make so many friends online and then I meet them in person eventually.
Yeah, I don't
And so
know.
age doesn't get into the way of that. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, if Sophia had lived in a different time,
yeah.
she would just be getting on the socials.
She'd
join a meetup group.
I'll tell you what. No, she wouldn't join a meetup group. I'll tell you what that girl would do. She would be an influencer on the Instagrables, and she would totally be posting reels. People would be engaging with her, sliding into her DMs. She'd be replying, going clickety 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 click, and then she'd have like a meetup at a well, they'd probably go to a local grocery store so she could get a nectarine, and they'd all go to that aisle of the grocery store and they'd meet up and they'd all be taking pictures because it's like influencer Sophia,
She would be in, do you know there's a TikTok group, they're called like Senior House?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went on a commercial audition and there was a guy who was playing my dad and a guy playing my husband and the guy playing my dad or maybe my grandpa. They ask him when you do the slate, they say like, would you be willing to shave? And he had a big mustache. And they said, willing to shave. And he goes, I can't. It's part of my job. And then later I was like, what's your job? You have to have a mustache. He goes, oh, I'm one of the members of the seniors of TikTok. So he's part of Senior House. I can't remember if that's the name of it. But anyway, he was so sweet. And I was like, I was like, I don't know you. I have to look you up. But they are. They're like, men and women.
What do you think Sophia's Instagram handle would be? I mean, I feel like Picture It would probably be a part of it, don't you?
Maybe. I don't know. I could see it being like Sophia Loves Sal or like.
I feel like she'd get more like fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she'd like it would be like a deep cut of something. You know what I mean?
Sexy
like,
Sicilian.
Well, I feel like yes, I like that. I think we're going in that direction. My brain is going to Grumpy Old Men to Man-Sized Manicotti.
Right.
So like, I feel like she'd do some sort of like, some sort of double entendre or some sort of like something,
Yeah.
just to really just, because and then she'd be like, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think it would be.
Exists, what that would be. Yeah.
So Dorothy tells Sophia that she should go out and get some new friends, and Rose starts telling a St. Olaf story. And by now, we're in season 3 of the show. These stories have become a recurring thing. I love that as soon as she starts telling the story, you can literally see Dorothy and Blanche's souls leaving their bodies. Which is why later, when Rose starts to tell the Sonia Klingenhofer story, Dorothy pretends to know exactly what she's talking about. She's like, yep, she sure did, Rose. And she's like, wait, you know Sonia Klingenhofer? Of course, she's from St. Olaf, isn't she? Lovely woman. Like, she's not a woman, Dorothy. That's right. She's a cow. No, a pig. I love it. A pencil sharpener. Blanche, help me out here. I'm drowning. Guys, that was all off the top of my head.
Wow.
Alaska would have done so much better.
She would have been great.
So Dorothy feels bad for Sophia. And so she's
Yeah.
like, look, you can join me and her new boyfriend, Raymond, to go out golfing, which I think is a really sweet gesture
I think it's so sweet. I think
to
it's so
invite her
nice.
along.
I don't know how Sophia would be at golfing. I don't think great.
I feel like she'd make a great caddy. She could fit into small places if the ball goes like underneath a
But a
cart.
caddy has to carry like those heavy clubs, and we know Dorothy wants her to move a wicker couch, but I don't know if she wants her to carry those clubs.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
she wouldn't carry the clubs. Maybe she would just retrieve the balls. There's a really great joke where Sophia gives Dorothy advice. She's like, just don't ruin it by sleeping with him. And Dorothy goes, of course not, Ma. I only do that with men I plan to scar psychologically. There is so much shitting on Dorothy in this
There
episode.
really was, and even from herself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then we meet Raymond, played by James Karen, a man with two first names.
Mm-hmm.
He actually kind of reminds me of the actor who played Dr. Elliot Clayton.
Oh yeah, I can
Remember
see
from The
that.
Triangle?
I mean, he's been in a few things. This actor, like, he's recognizable.
Did you want to look him up, or were you just saying that?
No. I mean, I'm saying he's been like people who are like fans of horror and stuff would like recognize him because he's
Cool.
been in a lot of like I mean, not great horror movies, but like I even think he
Well,
was
the
in
best
like
ones are like the B horror movies.
well, I think he's a part of that. He's like a Living Dead guy, but I also think I think he is Return of the Living Dead actually. I think he's been in like the new versions. But he was in that Hercules movie too.
Was that a horror movie?
Well, I mean, no, but it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute.
What?
He was in that Hercules, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger
The one in New York. Yeah.
in New York, Hercules in New York. That is the most insane movie if you've never
Yeah.
seen it.
No, I
Wait,
know.
who did he play? He didn't
Oh,
play
I don't
Pretzi.
know. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
remember. I just
Okay.
remember recognizing him.
Okay. Sorry.
It's a crazy movie though. It's a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie. I think
Yeah.
all of Arnold's lines are dubbed too. Every single one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
real. What was it? Who was dubbed? Faye Dunaway? Who was dubbed?
Oh, you mean no,
No.
it was Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell dubbed.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Faye Dunaway. I do want to play the moment where we meet Raymond, because when he and Dorothy kiss, you can tell the audience is like, they're not sure if they're supposed to have a reaction or not.
Yeah,
Did you notice
yeah,
that?
I
The
did.
audience was so hesitant, and it was
Mhm.
like, I was like, oh wow, they used that audio. Okay, yeah, let's
Yeah.
play that moment.
Hi, Dorothy.
Come right in. Raymond, I'm afraid I have something to tell you. Oh, you shouldn't have.
I know. Shouldn't have done that either.
Yes, you should. Do it again.
Hey, I have a chiclet here somewhere if you're fighting over a piece of gum.
I had to keep in her line.
Sure, no, it's they start to clap and they're like, oh, shh, I'm not okay.
Well,
And then they kiss
again, it's like you're on that date with your friend who brought the guy that no one likes. They're like, oh God, they're holding hands now.
But they don't
They're
even know Raymond yet.
I know, but what I'm saying is, for me, having watched this episode many times, I know Raymond. I don't like Raymond. Raymond
Yeah.
is the guy who's added on the date that I don't like. And all I want to do is talk shit with my friend. Leave, Raymond.
If this episode had been released, like, I don't know, 15 years earlier, we could have called it Everybody Does Not Like Raymond.
I love that show.
It is a great show. Deborah, I would feel so weird making out with a guy in front of my mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would too, actually. I never thought about that. But to their defense or whatever, they didn't start making out when she was in the room. She came into the room. So, like, you know, they didn't necessarily know.
That is true. Although I can't remember if it's either in One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest or if it's on the Golden Palace when Dorothy guest starred. But I remember there's like one moment she's like talking about how good the sex is, I think with Lucas right in front of her mom. And I'm like, oh, like all the women are like, how's the sex? And Sophia's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, that's gross.
Yeah.
And also like Blanche, because it's your uncle. I don't know. Have you ever had?
I don't think Blanche is ever bothered by any family member talking about anything.
Yeah, no, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, she's definitely dated a cousin. Have you ever had a third wheel tag along in one of your relationships?
Oh my God, yes.
You have?
Yes. Yeah, no, Michael and I often have friends, people who are, I mean, yeah, like we have people who are like, I guess you could say like our third wheel, but we don't think of them as that. Like we just have we have like single friends who are friends with both of us. So like we all go out to eat or we all, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So like, it's not, I don't really, never in a bad way.
Yeah, so it's more just like, oh, we have this friend who's a friend of both of
Yeah.
us who's coming with.
Yeah, or they come to hang out, or we go out, or we go to movies, or whatever. I mean, it's like we are kind of we rarely. I mean, I go hang out with like Elliot and stuff on my own sometimes, but like or you and I even but we rarely. It's usually a couple thing for most of the activities. So maybe we're annoying.
I think the thing too is that, with Dorothy, this is a new relationship. So maybe it's one thing if like you've been with somebody for a long time and you kind of have a friend who's tagging along. But when you're first starting to date someone, that's the time where you really want to get to know them. That's the time you're going to be like hooking up with them a lot, maybe, probably. So
Doing the dirty.
Doing the dirty.
Which I cannot see Dorothy doing the dirty with Raymond.
Yeah. I
feel
don't
like
know.
I feel like he'd smell. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't dislike him yet, but let's keep the train moving and
Yeah.
I'll get to my notes. So meanwhile, Blanche is running for fashion show chairman of the Tinkerbells and Rose is her campaign manager. What are the Tinkerbells and why do they have a fashion show chairman?
Yeah, the Tinkerbells to me sound like a Girl Scout group.
That's what I thought it was at first until later Rose refers to herself as a Tinkerbell. So it's grown-ups. Do we think it's like some kind of like high society, like a social club of women?
I don't know. I don't think it's a social club. I'm sure it's a social club, but I don't think it's like a high society thing. I think it's
some kind of social club with women because we know the committee is all women too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're just really rabid Disney fans and they've named themselves Tinkerbell in order to meet up and then talk about Disney things, in which I would be a part of the Tinkerbells.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the Hunka Hunka Burn and Love Club.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I mean, I was shocked that Blanche is spending so much money on this campaign.
I know. This is quite a campaign. Did you ever run for anything?
Run for or run from? I've run from a lot of things.
Well,
have I run for anything? No.
No high school office or like anything like that? Really? Wow. I did.
No, I know you did.
Yeah.
You did. You were doing all that stuff forever. That's great.
I mean, just for the time I was in high school.
Yeah, but the fact that you did it is really cool. No,
Yeah,
I never.
yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, the drama club was my life, and that's all that I had time for.
Okay. Got
Speaking of the Tinkerbells, you guys, old school listeners, know the story.
Yes.
Okay, so Rose is her campaign manager, I guess, and she's like putting out all this. She's putting out invitations for a party. She's meeting with a refreshment committee. Like Blanche isn't messing around. So eventually, Rose is like, I'm doing a lot of stuff for you for this campaign. I wonder if I should run. And Blanche is like, no way. And she goes, you thought Giorgio Armani was a puppet on Ed Sullivan.
Do you know who Giorgio Armani is?
Yeah, Armani. It's not going to be like a gotcha. You're not going to get me with like a Versace Showgirls moment. But I mean, Blanche pointing that out to Rose, I mean, this coming from the woman who didn't know what a lesbian was.
That's very true. That's very true.
Rose and Blanche sort of both deciding that they're going to run for fashion chairman or whatever gives us, I feel so bad when they shit on Dorothy, but it gives us such a great,
such a great
scene
clip
with Dorothy.
Oh
we
my
have to play it.
Okay, girls, which goes better, the silver chain or the pearls?
The chain. An amateur's mistake. Can't you see that the chain accentuates the many folds of that turkey-like neck?
Well, that may
but the pearls draw attention to the non-existent bosom.
Yes, but the chain leads the eye even lower to that huge spare tire. Jutting out over those square, manly hips.
Why don't I just wear a sign that says too ugly to live?
So, okay, let me just say this right now. In my relationship with Michael obviously is a designer, Project Runway, like whatever. He like knows that world. And we had a friend over the other day. They were getting their body duct taped, which is like what Michael does when he needs a body form of someone, so that he then, when they're traveling or whatever, it sort of creates a model form that he can put the clothes on and stuff, and he stuffs the body form. So we have in our back room here, maybe I'll have him bring one out. We have so many duct tape bodies. We have a closet full of bodies of some of the most famous drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race that you would, and myself, that you could ever imagine. Literally, you name a famous queen and their duct tape body is in that closet, because he does them for all the drag queens. So they were over here, they were doing it, and I was telling them as they were getting their duct tape on, they were like, oh, what do you think I should wear with this? And I was just like, I get told what to wear. I am told, I know what looks good to me. I know what I don't like, but like, I know I don't like showing my arms in drag, and I know I don't like showing certain things in drag. But other than that, that's where my opinion ends. And then I get told what to wear, and then I do everything else. But yeah, I would certainly fall in the category of, I'm going to bow out of this fashion conversation. I'll let y'all decide.
You would just be the plant in the corner.
I really would, because
Yeah.
I find, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't have any input in what I wear in terms of drag and stuff, but I'm one of those people. I learned a long time ago to not micromanage and to sort of let myself trust the people who are good at the things that I know they're good at.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Again, you know me, I buy my bags from Target and I have a fanny pack and I haven't bought new clothes since 2020. But when I was on the IMDb show, they came to me and they said, hey, we can give you a lot of money and you can go out and buy wardrobe, or we can give you a bit less money and hire a stylist who will buy the clothes. And I was like, that one, because I was like, I don't know. And this woman put together looks. And I've never had looks before. I've had tops and I've had bottoms and I've had dresses, but I don't have looks, like outfits. So it was really, really fun. She put together actual outfits and we took photos of them. And then I sent them to Stan and I said, I've been styled. There's a great, I wish we could have played this clip. It would have gone on for too long, but why don't I just wear a sign that reads too ugly to live? That could have been the end of the scene and that would have been fine and it would have been hilarious. Yep. But then we get another set of jokes where Blanche goes, fine, but what are you going to hang it from? The chain or the pearls? And Dorothy goes, neither. I'm going to spray paint it on my hump. Like, just joke.
It's so that, I mean, you know, okay. I'm taking back that this not being one of, like, in my top whatever least favorite episodes, only because of moments like this. But then again, the rest of it I don't like. So it's like I'm torn.
I don't know. Well, I do want to talk about Dorothy's outfit in this scene for a moment. That, like, white, like, lacy top, sort of the cowl neck, the white slouch boots,
it was low,
the lines.
It was straight, right?
There was no
hip.
Straight lines.
Yeah.
I actually thought that what she wore would have made a great wedding outfit to Lucas, right? Like, she's already done the big wedding thing. She did it twice with Stan. It would have been nice to see Dorothy just be like, I'm just going to have a little bit more of a casual look for my wedding. I thought that would have been a great wedding outfit for her.
I mean, I think a casual look in general would have been a great idea for Dorothy's wedding. I don't think she needed the over-the-top wedding dress.
Paper
Although
dress,
it did make for, I mean, it is an iconic part of the conversation, so I'm kind of glad it exists.
it has sparked many conversations.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to our recent interview in the GGVIP Club with director Lex Passeris, who directed the series finale, we do ask him to defend the toilet paper roll dress.
Well, while you go try to find that episode with Lex after you listen to this, come back after the break, and then we'll talk more about this episode. See what I did there? I did.
Yeah.
Bad. It was a bad transition, but it was a transition nonetheless.
So the reason that Dorothy is even all dressed up in this beautiful white outfit is because she has a date with Raymond.
Oh.
With Raymond. It's now been a few weeks of Sophia tagging along. So
That
Dorothy
is a
has...
lot. That is a lot. That said, that's on Dorothy.
I know it is, but she says it to Blanche and Rose. She's like, Ma needs me. She needs me. But I just don't know what, like, Rose and Blanche are home. Why can't Sophia just hang out with them?
Well, they're very busy with this campaign. You know, I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort to put on a successful campaign.
I guess they seem to just be home hanging out all the time.
And also, too, I mean, I think this should just be a sign that this guy's no good, Dorothy. If you're wanting your mother to be along more than you want to have nookie with Mr. Raymond, like maybe that's a sign that he's not the one.
There's that moment where she goes like, touch it. I can't even get close to it.
I mean,
or whatever.
That is funny. That is funny.
It was a funny line. So Dorothy has sent Sophia to the drugstore. And of course, so she's going to try to sneak out with Raymond. Of course, Sophia comes back before Dorothy and Raymond can leave. Dorothy feels guilty. So she lets Sophia tag along for dinner. And there's a great line where Raymond's like, after dinner when she picks her teeth, and Dorothy goes, I promise I'll make sure she keeps them in her mouth. Did you notice how anytime Dorothy tells Raymond, I promise, in this episode, she holds her hand up like she's swearing on the Bible to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
I promise.
I promise.
She says it later too. She goes, I promise. And she puts her hand up.
I don't have good hands to do that.
My hands are small, I know.
I always wanted to do a drag number to that song.
Yeah. Oh, that would be funny.
But I want it to be about,
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be watching the video version to see what HAlanScott / just did.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy the scene at the French restaurant where Sophia tells the Charles de Gaulle story. Yeah, I slept with Charles de Gaulle.
He was very tall.
Charles de Gaulle was?
Yeah.
Or Charles the Mole?
De Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
I don't think I know what Charles de Gaulle looks like.
I remember him having, I don't know him. I don't know. I didn't know him personally. But let's see if I can remember. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Yeah, he kind of had like a big nose, and he looked very angry the whole time. It's always a sort of like, he kind of looked like this. Hold on.
That looks more shocked than angry.
That was him. Let me do angry. Okay.
That looks a little bit more perplexed than angry.
I guess I don't have an angry face.
I don't know. Yeah, you don't have an angry face.
I don't do angry well.
You're like one little
I do judgmental well.
Yeah, you do judgmental great. You're like one little Oreo. Okay. Yeah, your judgmental face is great. The people who are listening on this podcast are like, Jesus Christ, you guys, just get back to the episode. So, the scene, I do like the scene in the French restaurant. Like the violinist comes over. Sophia's basically like, fuck off. Yeah. And then Raymond orders a bottle of whiskey and gin for himself, presumably before driving them all home.
He's got a problem.
This is where I have a problem. This is where my problems start with Raymond. Sir, why are you drinking and driving?
Sir, stop. Just stop. Run,
stop,
Dorothy.
Stop.
Run. Call a cab.
Dorothy.
Call a cab. Grab your put your mother on your back and get the fuck out of there.
And then later, he's like, hey, I'm kind of getting tired of hanging out with your mom. Maybe you should put her in a home.
Yeah. So, okay, first off, he's an alcoholic. Secondly, he's a dick.
Yeah, you, sir, are no gentleman.
And
this is
see,
where
this is what I'm saying. This is when the friend group who's on that date with this new boyfriend immediately turns. As soon as your friend that's dating that guy shows signs that they're now catching on to what you three have all picked up on, that's when the friend group becomes just ferocious. It's
I
like,
am.
oh, you want to drink? Oh, you want to drink? You want to drink? You want to drink and drive?
I'm fighting back a sneeze so badly right now. Okay, so then,
Okay.
oh gosh, it's getting harder to breathe, just like the
Oh,
Maroon 5 song. So
no.
that night, Dorothy's having trouble sleeping. She doesn't know what she's going to do.
Yeah.
Blanche tells her 3 men and a baby joke where she goes, I only got to sleep with Steve Guttenberg. And
Which,
I'm not
I
even sure
mean-
who he is. Now,
What?
I have some things to say about Steve Guttenberg. Good things.
Oh, please. Because I was going to say, Steve Guttenberg, to this day, is spank bank. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
I will say I don't agree again because I'm ageist and I don't like men as they age. For anybody who's hearing this for the first time, it's a joke. It's a
Wait.
running joke.
Wait. Okay, first off, do you think Steve Guttenberg was hot in the 80s?
In the 80s, when I was a child and I saw 3 Men and a Baby, I remember thinking Steve Guttenberg was cute. Out of the 3 men.
Have you seen Cocoon?
Yes, I have seen Cocoon.
So you have seen the Guttenberg in his full Guttenberg. Shirtless, beautiful,
Yes.
gorgeous,
Yes.
presentable.
Yes.
I think he's Jewish, so he's probably marriage material for me.
Yes.
Like he's just a snack of a man in the package of a nice human being that I would then say, I will do anything you want, Steve Guttenberg. Just tell me and I'll do it.
Yeah. So yes, Steve Guttenberg could get it. I agree. Couple things about Steve Guttenberg. One, during the LA fires, Steve Guttenberg
I remember this, yeah.
was helping firefighters move cars that had been abandoned,
And that
so that the
wouldn't-
firefighters
you
could
wouldn't
get through to
throw
fight
him
fires.
a handy for that, no matter how he looks. I would. I would close my eyes and I would think about Cocoon 1985 and I would be like, thank you, Steve. Thank you.
I was once at a table read for the Goldbergs because Steve Guttenberg used to play. He played a teacher on the show sometimes,
Yes.
and he was the nicest man, the nicest, kindest man. Now he also something. Yeah, no,
Steve Guttenberg,
he's
Cocoon.
yeah, no, he's hot. He's very, very hot.
Steve
Yes.
Guttenberg in short shorts.
HAlanScott is. There's a lot of Steve Guttenberg photos coming up. You have to watch the
Even this is him now, and
the
you know
video
what?
version.
I would.
Oh,
I
what a
would.
sweet face.
I would.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh
you
my
want
God.
Steve
There's a
Guttenberg
better
to
one.
the.
There we go.
Okay.
I mean.
All right. From a website called Boy Culture. So
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg, he was on a podcast and he once talked about the 4 stages of an actor's life in terms of like the hierarchy or in terms of where you stand in your career. These are the 4 stages. And I think this is so accurate and so great. These are the stages. Who's Steve Guttenberg? Get me Steve Guttenberg. Get me a Steve Guttenberg type. Who's Steve Guttenberg? Those are the 4 stages of an actor's life.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I
And
think
you know what?
it's a really great. Yeah,
Honesty is sexy.
I think
Honesty
so too.
is sexy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Steve Guttenberg. I can't
You
read
follow him on Instagram. He just makes videos where he's like,
Trust me.
"Hey, everybody."
You don't think I
Today's a
already
great
do?
day.
You don't think I already follow and like every single photo that Steve Guttenberg's ever posted or done?
Yeah, I believe it. Okay.
Wait, I need to tell you, Michael brought out a body form for you to see.
Okay, a duct taped.
A duct tape body form.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
person has got a
This
waist.
person, I know. Look how thin they are.
That is a tiny
I don't know who
waist.
this is, but it is a drag race queen. That's what I'll say. And
Wow.
that's how tiny. Like, look at that. Look how
That is a tiny, tiny waist.
tiny waist.
Does
Anyway.
Michael have the name somewhere written, like on the inside?
No, no. But he just knows who
Oh,
everybody
he
is.
knows. He just knows
Yeah.
from looking at all of
He
them.
does actually. It's wild.
That's a pretty good skill set to have.
Yeah. So.
All
anyways,
right. Now I want to tell you why the Sonia Klingenhofer story is my favorite Say No Love story moment. First, like we mentioned earlier, you have Dorothy and Blanche like trying their darndest to get out of the story with the whole like, of course she's a cow, she's a pig. Like, Blanche, help me out here. And Rose is like, no, she was a comic book, whatever. And she's like, and a damn fine good one she was too. Good night, Rose. Them trying to get out of it is so funny.
Yes.
Then you have Rose describing these comic strip panels in painstaking detail, which I think is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Then the look on Blanche and Dorothy's faces after Rose gets to the gist of it, and she goes, all right, Sonia tells her mother and her mother understands. The looks on their faces, and there is such a long audience laugh.
I don't know how they
then,
kept it together.
I don't either. I don't either. And Blanche is like, if my foot wasn't asleep, I wouldn't ask this, but what exactly did Sonia tell her mother? The joke between the two crows. I knew you'd be dying to hear it or whatever. It's so good. It's so good. Then Dorothy throws Rose out of the kitchen. Get out, get out.
The
you
way
think the joke is over.
Dorothy's throat in that scene is just so, she just does that deep, like, get out.
Yeah, it's when she makes the microphones peak. I love it.
Yeah.
And then you think the story is over. And then they surprise us with this little joke. But that's what the crow said. And so we have to play the moment because I love it so much.
Let's play it. Let's play it.
Get out! But get out!
Oh, my nose. Are you all right, honey? Wonderful, wonderful. I always wanted to have a nose like Joe Frazier.
Ma, how long were you listening at the door?
I wasn't listening at the door.
Oh, then why was your face pressed against the crack?
That's what the crow said.
Get out!
You know what we need to do? You know what we need to do? And I don't know if this is possible because, people age. But I think we need to find the writers of this episode. And we need to ask them about this, where this story came, how this came about. Because not only is this so absurd, so dumb, so ridiculous, but also so insanely smart. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, the story is wild. It's a wild ride. I want to know where it came from.
Yes, same. I want to find out. I want to find out.
The audience laughter is so big. It's perfect acting. It's perfect directing. It's perfect blocking.
It's the perfect
oh.
It's the perfect time in the series for a joke like this to happen because this wouldn't be funny if you didn't understand the absurdity of St. Olaf stories. So it's almost, this joke only works because they're in the third season. It is just so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So the next day, Dorothy goes to talk to Sophia, who says she met some new friends at the center, and they're going to Cancun. What would she do in Cancun?
I mean, I hope she would sit on the beach with a margarita. Do they drink margaritas there? What do they drink there?
Deo.
Deo. Daylight come and can't afford it.
Can't afford it. When Sophia is packing, did you notice that there was like a children's inflatable dinosaur pool float in the background in the chair? And I was
as someone who has a boyfriend who brings dolls on vacation, not surprised.
And she would fit in it too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, so cute. So sweet. So, Dorothy doesn't believe Sophia, and
she thinks she's saving face because, she picked up on Raymond and not like
because she overheard the conversation because she had her, nose pressed to the thing. That's what the crow said. Yada yada, deo deo.
Deo.
Can't afford it. So Dorothy breaks the news to Raymond the next day that she's not going to the Bahamas with him. And he's like shaking the brochure in her face. He says something that like, I can't I can't totally disagree with, but I can a little bit. He's like, you're a great daughter, but a terrible girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually he's
that's
not wrong.
He's not wrong. I mean, he is an alcoholic and offensive.
And suggested that Sophia be put in a home.
Yeah, which is all offensive and wrong. But that said, he's not wrong on this point.
Yeah. So he leaves.
Still hate him. Thank God he's gone.
Thank God he's gone and she never dates him again. He's like, I'll call you in a few weeks.
No, you won't. No, you won't. No,
I'm
you
like,
won't.
it's been like at least a month since you guys started it. Like Sophia's been hanging around for, if you think this is going to go away in a couple weeks, like,
Sophia
what do you think? She's going to put her
anywhere.
in a home? You think she's going to die? Like, what are your plans, Raymond?
Yeah, Raymond.
What's your mission?
You're not Guttenberging her.
No.
Oh, Steve Guttenberg.
No, Steve Guttenberg. I do love the outfit when Sophia comes out, the outfit that she picked to go to Cancun, that like long jungle print dress with a gold necklace. I thought she looked so cute.
She looks so cute.
And she goes.
Yeah, because she has friends now. And she doesn't need she don't need Dorothy slowing her jam.
No. And I like that, I feel like her overhearing that conversation, she could have done that thing where she was like,
She gets
I'm hurt. I can't believe you'd abandon me. I'm your mother. I pushed you out of my body. I almost died giving birth to you. But she didn't do any of that.
No,
she was just like, nope, I didn't overhear it. I just made some friends. But it did actually give her the little push that she needed, which means that like Dorothy could have actually had this conversation with her weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I'm actually okay with I'm okay with Dorothy dropping Raymond. I'm okay with how this episode ended. And now that on a rewind discussion of this episode, the fact that we spent so much time discussing Steve Guttenberg now officially takes this episode out of the list of my least favorite episodes, because it will always be associated with the one, the only, the GOAT of the 80s, the hottest man of the 80s. Sorry, Mel Gibson. Sorry, Tom Cruise. Sorry, Denzel Washington. Steve Guttenberg.
Do you think Steve Guttenberg knows that he's referenced in an episode of The Golden Girls?
I'm going to DM him.
I think we should send him the clip.
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that. I'll do that.
Let's start that dialogue. You're going to do that right now. We might as well end the episode. Well, should we take a break and come back with our golden takeaways so you can
Yes, we
DM
should.
Steve Guttenberg?
Excuse me. I mean, I'm going to need at least an hour because it's going to get me all hot and bothered. See you all in an hour. Well, it's an hour later, and we're back with our golden takeaways. And the golden takeaway is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Kerri, what's your golden takeaway, and does it involve Steve Guttenberg?
Oh. Well, here's my golden takeaway. Because it is about 3 men and a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you remember back in the day, there was a rumor about a ghost in the window on 3 Men and a Baby?
Yes, I do remember this. Yes.
The ghost of the boy in the window who died.
Yes. Yeah.
When I was a child, and I think the family, if I'm not mistaken, the family of the boy who died in this supposed house where they shot the movie, I believe his family was on like a Sally Jesse Raphael, was on one of these talk shows talking about That's My Kid in the Window.
That's
if I'm not mistaken.
Kid in the window.
First of all, that was shot on a soundstage.
Yeah.
But it
also,
wasn't.
Isn't it? It's in an apartment, right?
It's an apartment, but an apartment building.
Yeah.
So this scared the shite out of me when I was a kid. And then even as I got a little bit older, I loved 3 Men and a Baby. I wanted to watch this, but I always had to fast forward that part with Ted Danson holding the baby and hanging out with his mom because I was like, there's a ghost in the window. Thank God for the internet. And for anybody who still thinks there's a ghost in the window of a boy, dear friends, it is not a ghost of a boy in the window. There is a deleted scene where Ted Danson is shooting a commercial and he has a cardboard cutout of himself in this commercial. And what you're seeing is not a dead boy in the window. but a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson in a tuxedo in the window. So for anybody who thinks that there's still the ghost of a boy in the window, just know that there is no ghost of a boy in the window.
No, there's no ghost.
You can watch that scene and you don't have to be scared.
There's no ghost. There's no ghost. My golden takeaway from this episode also involves Steve Guttenberg, as you could imagine. So if you're listening, I'm going to go through the essential Steve Guttenberg spank bank movies to watch. Not ranked in order, just ranked in moments that could get you going. It's Police Academy. It's Police Academy 2, their first assignment. It's Cocoon. It's definitely Police Academy 3, Back in Training. There are moments in Short Circuit, but they're sweet moments.
Oh,
Police
I really
Academy
did
4,
like him and
Yep.
Ali
you did.
Sheedy in Short Circuit.
Yep, you did. Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. There's moments in Surrender. There are some shirtless moments in 3 Men and a Baby and Cocoon: The Return. And that is really where, and now if you're feeling like you need a wholesome Steve Guttenberg moment, and maybe the shirtless moment doesn't do it for you, you could watch his incredible turn as a more older actor doing father roles in films like It Takes Two. And if you want to see him in one of my favorite holiday movies, one of the rare Thanksgiving movies that exists, because those are rare. Usually it's a Christmas movie. It's rarely a Thanksgiving movie. Home for the Holidays, which is a fantastic
I love
film.
Home for the Holidays.
And he is uncomfortable in it in a wonderful, delightful way. And he has Jodie Foster's approval, which means he has my approval.
That's a wonderful golden takeaway.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that this episode made you appreciate this episode more. When I say this episode, I mean our podcast episode, because it is a good episode. And I hope that my sickness hasn't been too much of a downer, because I'm on quite a bit of NyQuil, so I don't know how this is going right now.
We're fine. This has been a very unhinged episode. You have been freezing quite a bit. We don't know if maybe
Not temperature-wise. My screen has been freezing.
Your internet is also sick right now.
My internet also has the flu.
But what I think really is happening from this is that your internet is responding to my excitement for Steve Guttenberg. And thus, when this episode drops, all of you will be excited over Steve Guttenberg. And thus, the internet collectively in the world will slow down for everyone. And you know what? That's okay, because we're all cherishing Steve Guttenberg.
Yes, we are. Oh, everyone, we're so glad that you were along for the ride this
crazy
week.
ride.
This has been an episode of Out on the Lanai. Again, be sure to check out the GGVIP Club over at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. You can sign up for free, but of course you get the most stuff at the $5 and $8 a month levels. And also it's supporting us in the podcast that we've been doing for going on 11 years.
My God, 11 years. I mean, it's crazy. We started this when we were 10. Wow. And you guys can, we're a part of Mom, Moguls of Media. So go support the Mom Plus and all the mommy things. And you can also find us on social media at Golden Girls Pod on Twitter, Out on the Lanai Official on Instagram, Golden Girls Pod on Facebook. And I am Sadie Pine /HAlanScott on everything.
And I'm Squid Eat Squid on Twitter and Squidsy on Instagram. And if you want to do something else nice for the podcast, you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get this podcast.
Steve Guttenberg. And remember,
as always,
stay
Guttenberg.
Thank
Stay
you.
golden, Steve Guttenberg.
He can do whatever golden to me. We're done.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.